Summary of The Art of War by Sun Tzu. When a state goes to war, it fights for its survival. That is the reason why efforts must be made to understand war as an art, and devise plans if conditions ask for it. The general who spends time to draw a definite plan of action will most likely win the battle. There are 7 things that he must address before beginning the act of war. 1. Which of the 2 states has a more authoritative ruler? Would the people of the state follow his every command unto their death? 2. Which state has a more capable general? 3. Which state has heaven and earth by their side? What this means is which state has natural circumstances like terrains, distance to be covered and weather in their favor. 4. Which state has more disciplined men? 5. Which state has a stronger army? 6. Which side has more capable commanding officers? 7. Which side enforces discipline through punishment, and rewards consistency at the same time? Planning in advance and studying your own army, as well as your enemies, will provide you with a definite advantage in war. An adept fighter never fights a battle that he does not have an assurance of winning. Unsuccessful strategists enter the battle without such assurance, and then look for opportunities to win. This differentiates the successful from the unsuccessful in war. A successful general knows that he can secure victory if he follows some definite rules. 1. You must have a definite understanding of when to fight, and when to not. 2. You must have knowledge regarding how to deal with both superior and inferior enemies. 3. Your state's army must be disciplined, and have a strong fighting spirit throughout all of its ranks. 4. You must fight that circumstances are such that you are prepared for war, but your enemy is not. 5. You must have complete autonomy to control your troops, without any interference. Always protect yourself from even the slightest possibility of defeat, and bide your time to wait for the perfect opportunity for victory. Victory in war is heavily dependent on the commanding general. Steps must be taken to ensure that generals do not cause their own defeat. The general is responsible if these 6 conditions arise. 1. If he marches his army against another that is 10 times its size, causing the flight of the former. 2. If his soldiers are too strong when compared to the officers. This leads to subordination. 3. If the soldiers are too weak in the face of the officers, which leads to collapse. 4. If the commanding officers are too undisciplined, leading them to act on their own accord, instead of consulting with the general about whether they are in a position to fight, leading to their own ruin. 5. If the general is weak, and without authority, when his orders are not decisive and clear, which results in a weak and disorganized army. 6. If the general makes a false assumption about his army's strength, or miscalculates it to be stronger than the enemy's, leading to overwhelming defeat. Maintaining an army can take a toll on the resources of the state, and prove to be a burden on the peasants. It takes a huge amount of resources to cater to the needs of an army. These resources should be conserved, and taken from a defeated enemy if conditions permit. An army can be made stronger this way. If possible, efforts should be made to capture the enemy with the least amount of resources spent. Deception plays a key role in the art of war. Strength must be masked with weakness, and courage with timidity. If your army is in order, feign disorder. Confuse your enemy and hold out bait for him if you wish for him to advance. Attack at the right moment, and impose your will on him. Be like a flowing river, that adapts to the terrain it flows through, and marks its course accordingly. You too must adapt to the terrain to take advantages where naturally present, and avoid disadvantages. Avoid fighting where there are confined places and precipitous cliffs, where a small force of men can dominate an entire army. Observe your enemy too, and look for startled birds, as they might point towards an ambush. Carefully analyze the terrain and your enemy, and then adapt accordingly. To wage a war, you must develop a strong relationship with your soldiers, and earn their confidence. You should make your army disciplined by punishing, and rewarding them whenever necessary. When the situation looks promising, share it with your soldiers. When it looks bleak, keep it to yourself. Treat your soldiers like your sons, and they will fight for you until their death.